Hey guys, very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the video number 432. My name is Ajay Parmar and today I'm actually bringing one of case studies where we're going to actually use the indirect function with the match. And this question I received from one of my subscribers. I had talked about this in my previous video as well, but there we talked about the offset function, right? But the same exercise but with the different solution. So this time we are going to use the indirect function. If you're watching the channel for the first time, this is my YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/Ajay Kumar Parmar, and so far we have got 432 videos on the Excel VBA, MS Access and Access VBA. This is the playlist which I'm going to share it with you. This is the playlist, guys. You can see this is for the Excel VBA. Watch in this series if you want to learn the Excel VBA, and watch for the Excel in this particular, this is the series, and for the Access this is the one, and for the Access VBA this is the one, right? Now this I'm telling you in my every video. You might have seen in my previous videos as well, because a lot of you are confused that if you want to learn then how to start, because there are so many videos on the channel. So guys, this is the proper actually the playlist, right? And this is the playlist. If you are new to the YouTube, then when you click on the channel, you come here and you click on the playlist, and when you click on the playlist, you see that we have created 45 playlists, right? These are the 45 playlists which are on Excel VBA, Access and Access VBA, and in that way you can actually find these the playlist one by one, and you can start your learning. Right now, for this video which I'm going to talk about, you should have a very good understanding of two functions. One is the match, but the most important thing in this exercise is going to be the indirect function. Okay, so this is the indirect function. I had talked about the indirect function also on my channel. There are some very basic videos. When you click on this, for example, here you would find the indirect series. You can quickly search here indirect, just in case if you're not able to find it out. When you click on this is what you get to see. 6 videos on the indirect. You can start watching this video exercise on the indirect, interview question, and then dynamic drop downs, and there are a couple of more videos, right? So these are the two videos which you can watch, and this is going to give you a good understanding on the indirect, right? So let's go and talk about this. So this is the data I received from my subscriber. So actually this is not exactly the same data, because I talked about that in my previous video also. You can refer to that data, but this is more of a, more or less the same data, so I don't think so this would create any problem for us to understand this. Now the important point of this exercise is that you have the tables in the different rows, right? There could be some more rows in between. That's not the challenge. The challenge is that here we are going to create a drop down which you can create from here. For example, you go to the data and the data validation. So I click on the list. So the point is, in the list I write my table 1 name, table 1, and then table 2, and then table 3. This is what I write here. Now the thing is, whenever you select the table 1 here, what we need to do is we need to actually reflect the data which comes from the table 1, right? And this is what I talked about previously using the offset. But the same exercise can be done using the indirect function as well. Now I'll definitely brief you about the indirect function, though I talked about that in my previous videos also. But you see, the indirect function basically it looks for the cell address, guys. Now for example, if I say equals to, I want the company here, this A3 value I want here, then what will you do? You will simply link this cell with this E3. Now the same thing if I want using some function. I don't think so in an Excel there is any other function which can return you the company other than linking the cell, directly going to that cell and linking that. So without linking, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Now when you link any cell with the another cell, it's more of a like direct link. You're setting up the direct relationship between two cells, right? You simply press equals to and you go to that cell, and that's it. But guys, in case of the indirect, it doesn't go directly to that cell. It needs the address. It needs another cell, use of another cell as a mediator, where you can go and write the address of that destination cell, the target cell. For example, if I need the company and I know that it's in the E3, okay, so I write here E3, which is a cell address, but I write this E3 in M16, that, right? This is the M16. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here indirect, And now instead of going this, because this is a direct reference, so this is not going to work, you will go in this cell M16. Now in the M16, indirect sees that whether the the whatever it is written, is it a cell address or is it a string. String means any text. Now you know that E3 is a proper cell address, so it goes to the E3 then. So first it goes in the M16. In the M16 it finds what is the cell address, and from that cell address it captures that value. So when you press enter, this is what you get to see. Right now, if I just let's say I write just here E and I press enter, then what will happen? This is not a cell address, this is a string, right? So indirect, when it goes to this M16, in the M16 it finds that this is not the cell address, and if it is not a cell address, then obviously you will have an error. So that is basically the difference, right? So if I just write here E4, what do you think, what will I get when I press enter? You will get ABC, because indirect goes in the M16 and it picks up the address from there, and because E4 is a cell address, so in the E4 it goes and returns the ABC for you. This is how basically the entire thing works. So the same thing now we want to do here. Now I want to find it out that what is the basically the table 1 row, because I would be interested in the cell address. So for the company, if it is a table 1, I would be needing the E4, and then I would be needing F4 and then G4 and H4. So let's say for example, if I write here E4 and then I go and write here F4 and then I go right here G4, right? Now if you are able to make this kind of a cell address, then your job is done. What is required then from you is you just use the indirect and you say that I want to go to the O13, and in the O13 it finds E4 and it goes to the E4 and it actually retrieves that value. Now when you're going to drag this left to right, that Excel will say what it says. It says that the column is going to change, so obviously your O13 will change to your the P13, right? And in the P13 you have another cell address which is F4, so it goes in the E4 this P13, and in the P13 it picks up the F4, and in the F4 you have this. And similarly when I drag this down, it should be E5, F5, G5 and so on. H, here you will have H, I and J. So guys, the important point is this is what we need. Now I know that my columns are E, F, G, H, H and so on, so I can quickly go and write here E. For example, I can write here E, F, G, H and then I and J. This is the first thing which I'm going to do, because I have these many columns, right? Now what is the next thing I want to do? Well, the next thing I want to do is I want to find out the address, the row number, right? So how are you going to find the row number? Because if you start from the table 1, then the row number has to be this. It should start from here, and if it is a table 2, it should start from here, and if it is a table 3, it should start from here, which is 21. So what we can do is we can very smartly capture the row number of this table 1. I look up this item and I go in this table and I say that I need the exact match and I press enter, and now you can see that I got the row number of the table 1, because match is a function which returns the position of your lookup item. So you got the 2, but you don't need the 2 because you need actually to start from here, excluding the header, right? So ideally this should be 3 and 4. So guys, that is why I'm simply going to add here 2, so that I should be on the correct row. Now I'm actually on the row number 4. Now from the row number 4, I want to actually go to this cell, which is E4. So what you're going to do is, in this case, now I'm going to write the indirect function here. Look at this. I write here indirect function, I pick up this O13, right? In the O13 I have E, and I'm going to concatenate that with this cell, which is M3. Okay, so now you're going to concatenate this with the M3, and so what will happen, eventually you will have the cell address which is called E4, because E and 4, when they are going to join, you will have a E4, and then indirect will go in the E4 and it picks up that number for you, right? Now when you drag this left to right, what will happen, your O13 will change to P13, which I need, because then you will have a new column which is F, and the same way M3 will also change to N3, which is wrong, right? So you don't, because this is a 4, this should not actually change at all, because this is basically the row number. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to put the dollar sign here. I'm going to put the dollar sign here, There we go. So that this actually should not change, right? And maybe we can do one thing, because when I'm going to drag this, I should be having the, you know, the different row numbers here. So I'm just going to add 1 to it, so that we can pick up the X, Y, B and triple Z, triple F and triple Y. So these are the row numbers which I will hide from my user. Now if I just move this left to right, let me see if I get the values or not. And there we go, bingo, we got the values, guys. If I show you in the F2, look at this, the combination F and 4, so that makes it F4. So indirect goes in the F4 and picks up the, you know, value from there. Now this becomes G4, this becomes H4, right? So this is working. Now when I'm going to drag this down, I think I will get the error, which is very obvious, because, you know, when you press F2, this is changed. This should not change, because ideally it should be E5, right? Because you have a value in the E5 and this is a blank. So obviously string, on the string indirect doesn't work. As I said, it needs the proper cell address. So ideally what you should do is you should freeze this O13 as O$13, so that when you drag it down, your row number 13 should not change at all. So this is what we have got. And now I'm going to drag this back and I'm going to drag this here. Alright, wow, this is beautiful. See, we got the answer, guys. Now you can see here, if I press F2, just to explain you, now the combination is E7. Now if I press F2, this is your H7, and then if you press here, this is the J7, and similarly if you come here, then this is going to be H8, right? Now if I just change this table 1 to table 2, you see that this is going to change, because now the table 2, the match is going to pick up. Remember, I have used a match function, so match is going to pick up this table 2 and it finds the position of the table 2 in this data, which you know that it's going to be 11. So we have already added, you know, actually 2 in this, so it becomes 13. So 13 is the exactly that row which we need to target. So that is why, you know, I use the match function here to capture the correct row number, and that is why we incremented this one by one, because now we need 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 rows. So this is my 13 row, 14, 15, 16 and 17. So these E, F, J, H, I, J, they remain as it is. This is not going to change. So ideally if you press F2 here, now what happens, indirect goes in the F15, guys, and in the F15 you have this value which is 300. So that's why it is changing. And similarly if you write here table 3, again you will have a change in your row number. Now you have the 21, because this is 19, so 20 and 21, and you see that the entire data is changing. This is cool, right? So this is how you write the indirect function. So this can be done with the indirect. You can definitely go and hide all these things. I can hide this as well, or maybe you can give it a white font, and this is how, you know, it looks like there's some VBA programming done, but you know that it is not the case, right? So this is all about the indirect function. Now I know that maybe you would ask me that, Ajay, if we have many columns, right, then how to get rid of this writing E, F, G, H, I, you know, manually, right? Because this can be a pain for, you know, for us. So guys, what you can do is you can write this, let's say 65 number, and when you drag this, you know, this is what you're gonna get, 65, and then click on the fill series basically. So this is 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and then what you can do, you can use the char function. Char function, what it does, it returns the basically the number of this. Okay, so 65 is always considered as A in Excel when you use this char function, right? So in this way, now when you drag it, you will have your A, B, C, D, E, F and G, H, right? So instead of writing this E, F, G, H manually, you know what I can do, because I know now E is 68, so I can use the 68 here, because dragging the numbers, you will get the option of the fill series, right? But you will not get the fill series option when you drag E and F. For example, if I think that I can drag this and I can get E, F, G, H, you'll not get that option, right? Because it's not a number. So that might be a pain area, but you know, using this 68, 69, 70, 71, what I can do, I can quickly come here and I can say that go in this char, in this number, and return the char of this position, right? So you're gonna get here 68, and now when I just drag this function, this is what I get, D, E, F, G, H, I. Obviously, I mean, this is wrong, because I think I should actually so what I need to use here is so let's go and check. First of all, I think there is some mistake I'm doing here. It should be actually 68 for D and 69. So this actually should be 69, guys, because 69 is what we need to get the E, right? So now you drag this and this is how it is. So you just leave this part, right? So that's how it is. And then obviously so just one second, I actually, let me drag this again. This is a copy paste, you need to make it fill series. Yeah, so now you got the 69, 70, 71, and using the char function, you know, of the 69 we have E, F, G, H. So this is automated. You don't have to write E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P if you have multiple columns, right? But I don't think so. It's really painful, I think, because it's a one-time activity. You can even write the column numbers manually, but just in case if you don't want to write it, you can use this char function, right? You can write here 69 or whatever the number you start. If your column starts with A, then you write 65 here, or you know, you can quickly make the table here 65, 66, and you can drag it, and you can see that how the basically the numbers, you know, are returning which basically the column for you, and then you can adjust your table accordingly, right? So I think this is done for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this indirect series as well, and if you haven't watched my previous video on the same exercise using the offset, please go and watch that as well. And last request, please do subscribe to the channel to support me, and we're gonna come back with some another exciting stuff very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.